Hi, this is actually a follow-up to my first video linked in the description. This video doesn't require that you have watched that one, but it builds up on the concepts introduced there. I say this because the idea I want to present here originates from my belief that Kara is a vessel. You don't have to agree with me for this video to work, but I will be arguing with this precept in mind. First of all, what is a vessel? A vessel is the connector between the player and the worlds of Deltarune and Undertale. It is what turns the player's agency into action by following its commands. If you believe my Kara vessel theory, then this translation doesn't need to be direct, as that theory states that the player's absolute control over Frisk, that allows it to force them into doing things they otherwise wouldn't, like choosing soda, originates from their vessel Kara, despite that vessel being long dead and likely decomposed. If you don't believe in Kara vessel or haven't seen that video, then this can still be inferred from the events of Deltarune. After all, the way the events are sequenced, we can infer that the vessel creating sequence is what leads, in a roundabout way, to us controlling Chris. Perhaps the reason we weren't able to control Chris as fully as we did Frisk is because we were interrupted before the connection between player and vessel was fully complete. Alright. Second question. Does that mean vessels have no will of their own? Yes. The difference between true vessels and accidental vessels does seem to lie in a lack of will besides the players, or, more accurately, in a singular will to follow yours. After all, Kara searched for our guidance on their own. They followed instructions we didn't know we were given. That suggests an independent will that correlates to ours rather than no will. After all, if they had no will, they wouldn't try to follow our guidance with our input. So vessels do have a will, just not one of their own. A small difference perhaps, but a dangerous one. Remember the asterisk I put besides the yes? That is because there is a way to decouple the vessels and players' will, if the vessel is tricked into doing it through a misunderstanding. If the vessel believes the player's will is for it to be independent, it will be so. This is what happens in genocide. We did unknowingly teach Kara that the only thing that matters is power, above any other sort of connection. We even go after our partner in crime, Flowey, before Kara takes over. So when Kara becomes stronger than we are, they take our control away, our agency away. Because that is what we taught it to do. Don't misunderstand it. Kara still sees us as their partner. They just don't see the contradiction between exploiting us and following our orders. With that in mind, why did Gaster make us do that? Yeah, remember this part of the vessel creating sequence? Why did he do that? Why did Gaster trick us into teaching our vessel to have its own thoughts, a personality, a favorite blood type? Why is he making us tell our vessel to differentiate itself from us? Isn't the vessel supposed to be just a way for us to play the game? Well, I think we're misunderstanding our place in his plan. The hero, the cage with human soul and parts. That's not us or Chris. That's the vessel. Remember, this is Gaster's Deltarune. His Deltarune, not ours. In his plan, in his prophecy, our choices don't matter. The reason why he did that is because he is gonna be a foil to the player. He wants the vessel to do what he wants, not what we do. Let's predict the future, shall we? I'm not talking about Chapter 5. Let's talk about Chapter 6. Here's what will happen. After a tense scene inside the shelter's dark world involving Chris and the Knight, Chris will remove the soul, initiating another overall soul sequence, like the one in Chapter 4. Here, we will go through an obstacle course, timing our movement to get through Air Blast as we explore the shelter, and, at the end, we'll find it. Our vessel. In this room, there will be no way out except a door that requires a body, and we'll be obligated to enter our vessel. Except when we try to move, the vessel doesn't. And when we don't want to move, the vessel does. We watch in terror as the vessel forces us to save and goes out of the room without our input. Now we're stuck in the same position we had forced Chris in, except we can't rip ourselves out. Like of arms. In the following sequence, we'll be stuck in the backseat as the vessel explores the dark world and battles enemies, fighting or acting depending on our choices in the previous chapters. We'll only get control over the soul during the bullet dodging parts. The sequence ends with the vessel being found by the Fun Gang and a battle ensues. Chris needs to beat the vessel to get the soul back, all the while trying to explain as little as possible to Susie and Rossi, while we want to get back to Chris but have no control over our actions. To win the battle, the player will have to realize they must lose the confrontation, letting all bullets hit until the vessel's HP goes down to 0. But it is too late. Susie is already mad at Chris for hiding this from her, while Chris is already mad at us, the soul, not knowing we didn't have control. There's an inherent problem concerning the weird route in Deltarune. It is clearly designed to be done after the events of a playthrough, when the player is upset by the ending of the normal route. However, we also know that the ending of the weird route will be worse than the ending of the prophecy. So why would a player continue the weird route after it got worse if it doesn't lead to a better ending? Well, what if the problem of the normal route isn't the tragedy? It's the lack of agency, the choices not mattering. What if what the player gets by doing a weird route is freedom? Not only is that thematically fitting, but it also calls back to the mental game. The optional alternative to the linear game where your choices do matter, that is coincidentally filled with reroute symbolism. What if, when you have to enter the vessel, that isn't a problem? After all, you have a different soul in a different body that you have full control of. I'd like to thank you for watching this video. I hope that you have enjoyed it. If so, please leave a comment down below and subscribe. If you didn't, leave a comment down below and don't subscribe. Goodbye.